All right, guys, welcome to Bite Me. This is season 1, episode 39, The Truth About Lesbians with Pamela Pickles, aka Buffy. Lesbians, aren't they great? I myself am bisexual, and I have known such from a very young age. I remember in the 90s, the idea of anything gay being so taboo, and in the early stages of the new millennium, lesbians were viewed as more a sexual object than a human to exist. I'm grateful I get to see a day and age in which two women or two men can marry legally in the United States and be just as miserable as the rest of us. All jokes aside, though, having dabbled in some relations with the same sex myself, I'm particularly excited to broadcast this episode with my comedic pal, fellow TikToker, and state neighbor, Pamela Pickles, aka Buffy, to discuss what it is to be a lesbian in 2021 and all of the awesome things that come with it. Buffy, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Buffy. I live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I've lived here for 5 years. I grew up here, moved away. I'm back again. And I've got 2 kids and one with my girlfriend. So we have 3 total.
And you're living life. You're
Living
just
a
like having the human experience, having your greatest time of your life right now, like having a nice, healthy relationship.
It's very nice. It's so nice to just find somebody who truly cares about you and is thoughtful and mindful and sweet every day. And it's really kind of sad how hard that is to find. It is.
Yeah. And this wasn't like in like the original scripting that I wrote in here, but I have to have you tell the story, and you talk about it on TikTok, so I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here, but you stole her from her boyfriend, yes?
We met at the gym, and when we met, I was living with my boyfriend that I had just bought a house with a year prior, and she was with her husband, and they were going on into their 7th year of, they're in their coming up on their 7th year of marriage. They had been together for 10. 5 months after we met, I broke up with my boyfriend and I started hanging out with her and her husband a lot at their house. Like I stayed at their house with my kids to kind of get away from my boyfriend at the time. And her husband, unbeknownst to me, had this fantasy of having 2 women. And he had kind of tried to instigate other women or other couples into their relationship for years, and she was just like, no, thank you, I'm good, I'm all set. And I didn't even really know
right in there
that she wasn't like privy to like what was going on. He like kind of like invited me into their bed one night, like sleep there, and like literally just slept between the 2 of them. And it's not as dreamy as you'd think. It's really hot. Like I wanted to die. I was like, I was so hot.
It doesn't sound that sexy until you get him out of bed, and then it's sexy.
Yeah, and then the next time, we did have sex, and then we had sex. We all kind of hooked up over the next few months. So it was like the end of February 2019 when this happened, and by 4th of July, he felt like she was really, really into me and not into him anymore. And then I tried to like kind of
fucked up about it.
He was really fucked up. He said a lot of shitty, crazy things. And then I tried to like, and then I would stay over and I would go sleep in the downstairs room, and she didn't want to sleep next to him. So she'd come sleep next to me. And then all of a sudden I'd wake up with a flashlight in my face, and he was up all night, like taking his bike apart. He went insane.
Wow. That's a hell of a drug.
He went straight off the deep end. And then I never stayed there again after that. I started dating this guy to like really try to separate myself from the whole situation. Like, it's not my fault, but she was like, I'm done. She just realized how selfish he was and how the way he talked to her in front of people. And she never even noticed until my friend Effie and I pointed it out to her. We're like, hey, people are not, your husband's not supposed to talk to you like that.
Yeah.
Like,
she was probably in it for so long that she didn't. I think that's a lot of us. You get to where it's just, that's normal.
Yeah.
So, you yourself are, I mean, you've again talked about on TikTok, you would say at this present time, I mean, I don't really believe in labels, but if we were to have one at this present moment, we could say you're a lesbian, and
Yeah.
you're pretty out and proud about it. You've got, a hat, and you talk about it. And so tell us about that journey for you.
Honestly, it was a huge struggle because I had always been an ally of the lesbian community. I had been to Pride 6 different times in 3 different cities. I knew I liked kissing women, but being in a relationship with women wasn't, I was like, that's not me. That's not who I am. And so having all these feelings for her and wanting to be in a relationship with her was very confusing, because I was like, how could I possibly want to be in a relationship and not know that I'm gay? Like, shouldn't I have known? Shouldn't I have known? Like,
Because
I
this was
have
kind
a
of your
very,
first,
like, I just was like, I don't understand how I didn't know this. How did I not, and then I kept trying to think, how could I be in a relationship with her but not be a lesbian? Like, that label was really hard for me, label, because I never had a label of any kind. I just kind of flew under the radar, and all of a sudden I would have a label, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know about that, and I don't care anymore.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't. It's a love of a person that's worth everything for me.
Yeah, you get to a point where you care more about being happy than you do about putting, like you said,
Label.
labels on things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
And
that's
now it
really
feels, with lesbian TikTok, I'm like, oh, this is like a superpower.
this is a cool. I like this.
Like, ooh, I do. Men, I don't need you. Haha.
We don't. We really don't need the men. But okay, so you're with someone currently, and what is it like for, would you say? I mean, we both discussed that we don't like labels, but for women who are with other women or even a person of the same sex, anything, to be in the LGBTQ community this day and age, when tolerance subsides and acceptance takes its place, I mean, how would you describe that experience for you in 2021?
Um,
You said prior, when we were talking a little candidly before the episode, that people have been pretty not necessarily welcoming or unwelcoming about it, just very normal, just very, oh, okay, well, we're glad you're happy.
yeah, so I definitely live in a place and in a state and in a family and in a community and a group of friends. Nobody, it's not even on their radar. Like, it's like me, like, saying I have 3 dogs and I'm a lesbian and I love burgers. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah, it's just very
It's
normal, just like you're
very
talking about each
normal.
other. It's
And so
not,
it's really heartbreaking when I watch videos about people who have people come up to them and be like, God doesn't believe in this. Or when I see comments that even people get on TikTok from religious groups, or their parents don't approve of them, or their parents don't love them, I'm like, that's heartbreaking for me.
yeah,
Heartbreaking.
because for you, it's just been this sort of like, it hasn't even been a thing to discuss. It's just been a thing that was. And for other
Yeah.
people, it's like they're literally walking through the fiery depths of hell just to live their lives and be happy.
Yeah. And I just feel really blessed that that's not what is happening with me.
Yeah. And in your position, especially where you're a grown woman, that's even nicer, because then, like, I mean, I can't imagine being a teenager having to navigate those issues and things like that. So, but luckily, this day and age, it does look like more acceptance is taking place than it used to be, just a thing we tolerate, whereas now it's a thing that is accepted and welcomed. And so I think that when you talk about people not making it a big deal when you say things to them, I think that's a really good step in the right direction. Like, that tells me that we as us as a society, even in your small city, have started to move forward.
Oh
So,
yeah. I mean,
so in
it's
your
so normal. Nobody even acts even a little strange or a little uncomfortable about it. They're like, oh, that's nice. Like,
yeah,
it's like I told them I had a Tacoma. Like, they just are like, okay.
is it registered?
Like, who cares?
What color? Yeah, that's cool. So, in your TikToks before, you mentioned that you do occasionally still get hit on by men. how does that transpire when it occurs, and what how do they respond when you, I mean, do you respond to the advances? Do you mess with them a little, or how do you handle that?
To be honest with you, I wish I had a lot more experiences and funny stories to tell you, but we came out right before COVID hit, and
Yeah,
then we were in quarantine, and then we
right.
spent our whole summer just being at the lake with the kids, and then we go to work. And so our interaction with people and restaurants and people we don't know is very so minimal. We
Yeah.
did go out of town last weekend, and this guy was like this close to me, like talking to me, trying to like ask me a million questions because he realized I was from Steamboat and he used to live here. And he's like, "Do you know this person, this person?" And Jenny was pretty sure he was going to ask me for my number. And at some point, he asked me who I was married to, and I was like, "I'm with her."
That's a
And
weird thing.
most guys, the reaction is like, "Oh, that's nice. That's you." Like it's like, "Oh, really? That's
So let's
fantastic."
say a guy did walk up to you like in a bar or store or something, was like, "Hey baby, want to see my football?" or whatever dumb shit the white men say. Like and you and Jenny are standing there like, what, how would you handle that? Would you mess with them a little bit, or would you just be like, you know, no thank you. I don't want to hear that story, grandpa. Like
I think it would really depend on the situation because I accidentally make conversations with people all the time. I mean, the whole conversation with that guy was like I instigated it because I had recognized him. Where and Jenny was like, and he was just so obnoxious. She's like, "I would have never talked to him." And I'm like, "I know, sorry." And she actually kind of gets a hit on more than I do because she's younger than I am
okay.
and she's tiny. Like so, I used to think it was funny when guys would just roll up to me and be like, "You're so beautiful," and I'm like,
So she gets hit on as well. You both like are getting hit on like in tandem.
yeah, but it hasn't. It's just been so little since we've been together because of COVID.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I wish I had more fun stories. Trust me, I will save them for you.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
her face is just like, talk to my girl.
She seems like, from what I've seen in your TikToks, like she, like I can see you
She
kind of
actually
like
just came
having,
home.
yeah, I can see you having some like witty banter with it, but I can see her, she seems like a straight shooter, I guess is what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say.
yeah,
Like, get the fuck away from us. We're trying to eat. Like, you know?
yeah. Like zero flex, bro. But
Yeah, and I can
like
appreciate
she's
her candor, you know? I mean,
mhm.
I'm told that I'm very brash, and I would hope so. We don't need to play games, you know? Let's just say it how it is. Like, all these people who have these dialogues with each other where, like, small talk and stuff, and, "Oh, we're talking to each other, but we're not really saying anything." I don't do that shit, and I don't think that somebody like her does either. We just know if we're thinking it, we're gonna say it. So, it's a beautiful thing. Um, so we're gonna take a break real quick, guys. We'll see you right back on Bite Me. All right, guys, welcome back to Bite Me. We're here with Buffy, aka Pamela Pickles from TikTok. So, what advice would you have for other women out there who are looking to come out of the closet but maybe haven't found the courage to do it themselves or to do so yet? I know you mentioned in your case you didn't necessarily know until it happened. What would you advise for someone's journey?
Yeah, I looked at this question and I really don't know. I mean, if you're in your head at least know that you are interested in somebody from the other sex. I mean, I think that you should start finding those people and finding those for friend groups and finding people. Finding your people is all I can say. I mean, I found a person and I came out. But if you don't have a person, then you need to find a group of people who are your like-minded people who you can relate to and feel comfortable in your own skin with.
Yeah, just like basically live your life being authentically you, I think is what you're saying.
And it might not be somebody in person. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of lesbians on TikTok. So if you really need to talk to somebody, like they're out there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Or trans or gay or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of resources out there.
Yeah, but maybe like, would you recommend? I mean, you guys didn't meet on a dating app, but would you recommend a dating app? I would not. I personally would not.
I I no, I don't. I mean, no.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know how authentic.
I feel really sorry for people who date off of dating apps. I
I
feel
mean,
like it's
I
pure
did it
human
once,
torture. It's a
and I
torture device.
yeah, it's not a poo dating apps. I don't know. I look at it and I think about the future and I'm like, oh my God. Like the last time I got on a dating app, I was married 3 months later and it was not good. So like you can't get on a dating app and get married 3 months later. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think finding people organically, finding your people organic, because you guys met in a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's like you were probably friends first.
And then I invited her to my birthday, and then we just kept hanging out together. And also the fact that we were friends for so long made getting into a relationship so easy. And I think people skip that whole part. They skip being friends.
Yeah.
Like friends.
Yeah. You should be friends first. Because
Yeah.
you can't love somebody if you don't like them.
Yeah. Or if they, I mean, she just proved to be, she made my life so much easier just being my good friend. And I was like, I can't really live without her because
You
she's
guys
so
seem
amazing.
like you have a nice balance. I would say that's important too, probably. Do
Yeah.
I mean, the way you explain it to me, it seems like you guys have a very nice balance together. Very easy.
Very easy.
Yeah, less stress. So, last question or not so question. And like, we talked about you stealing her from her husband. Give us a full step-by-step tutorial on how, you nab a lady from her husband if you're wanting to just snag that right up. Like, do you have
I
advice?
don't have a tutorial. I mean,
Okay.
with her ex, I started pointing out because the way he would talk to her in front of people, I was like, that's not really okay. And um, when you just make somebody laugh all the time, and then when you're like way better in bed than the person they're with, I
Hard
mean,
to compete with that, you
it's
know?
hard to compete with that. It's when you're just like when they're like selfish in bed because they're
Right.
selfish in life, and then you give everything you possibly can for a couple hours. Like I
Okay.
guys are like, what, 2 hours? I can give you like 20 minutes. I'm like, that's like a lesbian quickie.
Oh my God, it is though. Like,
It is.
so there you have it, folks. That's the secret sauce. Just be better in bed than the abusive ex, which shouldn't be
Yeah.
hard to accomplish. Well, I want to thank Buffy for being with us today. Buffy, do you have anything that you want to like plug here? Do you have any like charities or anything? What do you got going on in your life? What that you'd like to say to everybody?
I think everyone should just try really hard to remember the days when you couldn't just be an asshole online, because if you were an asshole in person, you would get punched in the face.
Yeah,
We
I like
should.
that. I can honestly say you're the first guest who has been bold enough to be like, I'm not going to plug a charity or an advertisement. I'm just going to tell you not to be a dick. Have a great
Yeah.
day. Love it. All right, guys. For more information about the modern woes of a lesbian, you can check out the website lesbiansovereverything.com. And for a brief history on lesbianism, you can check out wikipedia.org. Check me out on the Truthful Grimmer website, Twitter, and Insta. I will see you guys next time.